most dangerous person in the room may not be the one who can't control their emotions. It may be the one who understands yours. Imagine someone knows you're terrified of being abandoned. They never threaten to leave. That's too obvious. Instead, whenever you disagree with them, something changes. Their replies get shorter. Their affection disappears. They become just distant enough for you to notice. So you start fixing it. You apologize first. You soften your boundaries. You become easier to please. And then, the warmth returns. They never told you what to do. They didn't have to. They understood your emotions well enough to let your own fear do the work. We call the ability to understand and manage emotions emotional intelligence. Usually, that's a good thing. But there's a question we rarely ask. What happens when someone understands your emotions extremely well, but doesn't care about protecting them? Emotionally intelligent people can often notice things others miss. A change in someone's voice, a forced smile, an uncomfortable silence. The person desperately seeking approval while pretending they don't care. Used responsibly, this awareness can make someone a better friend, partner, or leader. But here's the distinction that changes everything. Understanding an emotion and caring about the person experiencing it are not the same ability. Imagine you're exceptionally good at recognizing fear. If you care about someone, that tells you how to comfort them. But if you want control, it tells you where to apply pressure. Same information, different intention. And researchers have explored what happens when emotional abilities overlap with darker personality traits. This is where things get uncomfortable. Psychologists often study 3 traits together under the name the dark triad: narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy. They aren't the same thing, and having certain traits doesn't automatically mean someone has a disorder. What's interesting here is much simpler. Imagine someone who's highly motivated to manipulate people and also highly skilled at understanding them. They don't need to shout. They don't need to threaten. They may not look dangerous at all. In fact, they might make you feel safer than almost anyone you've ever met. And that's precisely why you may tell them everything. Think about it. If someone constantly made you miserable, you'd probably avoid them. So manipulation doesn't always begin with pain. Sometimes, it begins with pleasure. They remember details nobody else remembers. They listen differently. They make you feel interesting, important, understood. You think, finally, someone gets me. And perhaps they genuinely do. But feeling understood creates trust. And trust creates disclosure. You tell them what embarrasses you, what you're insecure about, what you're afraid of losing, what happened in your previous relationship, what makes you jealous, what makes you feel inadequate. You've essentially handed someone a map of your emotional world. So how do you know whether they intend to protect that map? Don't judge what happens while you're giving them what they want. Watch what happens when you stop. Say no. Disagree. Set a boundary. And suddenly, you've changed. I thought you cared about me. After everything I've done for you? Listen carefully to what just happened. The original question was, am I allowed to say no? But now you're asking, am I a bad person for saying no? That's a powerful psychological shift. You're no longer evaluating their request. You're defending your identity. And if someone can repeatedly make your boundaries feel like evidence that you're selfish, cruel, or disloyal, Eventually, you may start removing those boundaries yourself. No command necessary. But here's the twist. Learning all of this creates another danger. Once you start studying psychology, you begin seeing patterns everywhere. Narcissism, attachment, trauma, manipulation, body language. Suddenly, he's insecure. She's definitely a narcissist. They're manipulating me. And without realizing it, you've fallen into another psychological trap, believing that knowing psychology means you can read minds. You can't. Silence doesn't always mean anger. Confidence isn't automatically narcissism. Someone taking hours to reply isn't necessarily trying to control you. Sometimes, they're just busy. Psychological knowledge can make you more perceptive, but without humility, it can simply give your assumptions more impressive vocabulary. Sometimes, the most psychologically intelligent thing you can say is, "I could be wrong." So don't become paranoid. Become observant. Don't ask whether someone is charming. Ask what happens when charm stops working. Can they hear no without punishing you? Can they disagree without attacking your character? Can they apologize without somehow making themselves the victim? And above everything else, what happens to your vulnerabilities when they're angry with you? Because anyone can protect your secrets when they adore you. Character is being furious with someone, knowing exactly where to hurt them, and choosing not to. That's the difference between emotional intelligence and something much rarer: emotional wisdom. Emotional intelligence can show you someone's wounds. Emotional wisdom tells you those wounds aren't weapons. It can tell you what someone desperately needs to hear. Character determines whether you use that knowledge to strengthen them or control them. Remember the person from the beginning? The one who knew you were afraid of abandonment? Knowing your fear wasn't what made them dangerous. What they chose to do with that knowledge was. Because understanding another human being gives you power. And the real measure of emotional intelligence may not be how well you can read people. It's whether people are safe after you've read them. If this insight was valuable, subscribe to Mind Archive. Understand your mind. Understand people.